Hi students, welcome home to Mars. Today we shall discuss about infrahyoid muscles which you have seen in the previous video, which partly covered the midline structures of our neck. So now let us see the infrahyoid muscles. Look at this neck here. This key bone, what you can see, this is hyoid bone. The muscles which are present above the hyoid bone, these muscles, these are called as suprahyoid muscles. These are the muscles which will pull the hyoid bone and in turn the larynx when we swallow. On the other hand, the muscles which are present below the hyoid bone, these are called as infrahyoid muscles. Infrahyoid muscles. These are like reset muscles. After the larynx has been elevated when we swallow, these muscles will reset the hyoid and the larynx back to its position. Now, which are the infrahyoid muscles? So, this muscle is sternohyoid and which is lying just lateral to it, this is Omohyoid. Both are superficial infrahyoid muscles. On the other hand, this muscle is sternothyroid and its continuation above, this is thyroid. These two are the deep infrahyoid muscles. Today we shall learn only one of the infrahyoid muscles, that is sternohyoid. So we shall now learn the anatomy of sternohyoid muscle with the help of a diagram. So when you get a muscle, you should always explain anatomically under origin, insertion, nerve supply and action. So here goes sternohyoid muscle. So let us first draw the key bone. So what is the key bone? That is the hyoid bone. So the structure of the hyoid bone is, this is the body, lesser cornua and greater cornua. So this is greater cornua and this is lesser cornua. So first you draw the hyoid bone. Next we'll draw only the Manubrium sterni. So here goes the jugular notch. This facet is for clavicle. This facet is for first costal cartilage. This facet is for second costal cartilage and here is the joint. So let us label this as Manubrium, the upper part of our sternum. This is Manubrium or Manubrium sterni. Next, we shall draw the cartilages. So here, this is thyroid cartilage. So label this as thyroid cartilage. Below that comes the cricoid cartilage. So this is cricoid cartilage. Then starts the tracheal rings. So these are tracheal rings. So label this as tracheal rings. And then we need to draw one more bone from which this sternohyoid will take origin, that is the clavicle. So this is the clavicle and we'll specifically label this as medial end of clavicle. So the joint which is present here between clavicle and manubrium, this is called as sternoclavicular joint. So now that the structure is ready, what is the origin of sternohyoid? The name itself tells us the origin. Sterno, that means it takes origin from sternum. Now the thing is, which aspect of sternum? It takes origin from the posterior surface. So I'll use dotted lines here. From posterior surface of manubrium, partly also from posterior aspect of sternoclavicular joint, and also partly from medial end of the clavicle. So this is the origin of sternohyoid. It ascends upwards and is inserted to the lower part of body of hyoid bone. That's why the name sternohyoid. Of course, you have one more part because it's a pair. You have it on the other side here too. So label this muscle as sternohyoid muscle. So the origin is posterior surface of manubrium, medial end of clavicle, and posterior part of capsule of sternoclavicular joint. Insertion is to the lower part of body of hyoid bone. Now that you know the origin and insertion, what is the nerve supply? The nerve supply of this muscle is Ansa cervicalis. This is the nerve supply. What is the action? This muscle, sternohyoid, see, if you don't remember what is the action, always remember the action is the pull towards its origin. So this muscle contracts towards its origin, which means to say it pulls the hyoid bone downwards after it has been elevated during swallowing. So what does this mean? This hyoid bone will be elevated because of the contraction of suprahyoid muscles during swallowing. Once swallowing is done, the hyoid bone is reset in position because of sternohyoid. So the action is depresses hyoid bone following its elevation during swallowing. This is the action. So now, what would happen if this sternohyoid muscle is paralyzed? We'll think about it, we'll discuss with clinical correlation after we are done with the anatomy of infrahyoid muscles. Thank you for watching. Please share your valuable feedback to improve the class. In the next class, we'll discuss about the next infrahyoid muscle, that is Omohyoid. This is Mars, where medicine meets meaning. Thank you.